What's up, y'all? It's FreeBaff. To all the newcomers, welcome to FreeBaff. Today we're gonna touch on the Cayman again. It's actually been a little while since I've done any videos or anything on the Cayman, but today is super important. You always hear all the good things about a car, and people do the random like, oh, 3 things I hate about the car video, but I don't only want to touch on some of the things that I dislike about the Cayman, but some of the things that are weird that I think anyone who's interested in a Cayman or just wants to know about Porsche should know. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible and give you guys some good information. At the end of the day, I'm pretty positive you're going to learn something, so let's go. Alright, before I head out, both cars are filthy. Haven't driven all week, so sprinkler system got to it. So yeah, we're going to wash these cars real quick because I can't be seen out looking like this. Okay, so I just said the cars are filthy. We ran out of soap, so we're about to pick some up. Which one are you going to choose, man? I thought you said we're going to get a...
There's no Adams.
Damn.
So we got to order that.
Let's try this again. Okay, so car wash took entirely too long, and now it's like kind of dark outside, but I am shooting with the A7S now, so hopefully you guys can still see me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with number 1, since I'm still in the parking lot, right? So obviously Porsche has a great reputation with engineering and overall handling, mechanics and stuff like that, but here to tell you guys that comes at a price. So because of the cambering that comes stock on the vehicle, there's a little bit of tire rubbing, which is actually weird, but it's a very common thing. Hopefully you guys can see it. If you're rolling and you have full extension on the steering wheel, the car knocks a little bit, so I'm sure the camera might be shaking, but yeah, that's it. It's worse. It's worse when the car is colder, so most people will notice. I bought my car in the summer. If you guys were following, I bought it in July, and it is now midway through October, and as it starts to get like cooler outside, the tires aren't as warm. The tire rubs, there's a little bit of camber, so it's angled a little differently, which is honestly good from basic physics. Obviously that's going to help the car handle better, so it's not a bad thing, but that's something you will notice right away. So I was actually talking to a Porsche rep from the dealer, and he was like, yeah, it's very common. A lot of 911 owners, they come in, fall time, just like me, and they're like, whoa, why is my car doing this? Because it's not something you expect from a vehicle, a high-end vehicle that you're paying a good, pretty penny for, you know what I mean? That's number 1. Not really a bad thing, but that's something I feel like everyone should know, so they're not freaking surprised when it's, a little cold outside and they're trying to make a full turn and they're like, what the hell is going on? Because sometimes it's real aggressive. Like if it's in the morning and it's, obviously a really cold start and whatnot, it really knocks, and you would think something's wrong with your car, but it's not. It's completely fine. But the next thing that I've noticed owning my Cayman is the way the ECU is flashed on the car is a little weird, right? So what do I mean by that? A lot of the algorithms and stuff that are obviously programmed into the vehicle's ECU, they don't really make much sense. Like this car has the automatic start and stop option, and things like the automated wing, when the wing comes up at a certain speed and stuff. Like I've noticed my wing come up at like 70 miles an hour. Sometimes it won't come up till 80, stuff like that. And obviously there's a little bit of more math to it, so you know, everything's kind of done for a reason. But with the automatic start and stop, what's really noticeable is that shit happens whenever. I mean, you can't ever even be like, okay, I've been driving super hard, and I have like a quarter tank left, so it's just gonna be doing that all the time. No, like, I mean, sometimes it'll stop 2 times in a row, sometimes it'll stop once, sometimes it won't stop at all, and sometimes you pull up to a spot and put it in park, and then it stops. And at that point, if you wait too long, you're gonna have to turn off the car and turn it back on. So it's kind of weird. But thing is, I don't turn it off often because it is a good feature. It helps save gas, and it's actually kind of cool when it cuts off. And with the exhaust, it's much more noticeable when it cuts back on. Unfortunately, I could only get through 2 before it got a little dark outside, so we just stopped by this little shop, got some smoothies, and I'm just gonna go through the rest of the stuff. So, number 3 on my list that I've noticed, and my brother noticed it right away. So the car's already low on torque, low on horsepower, but it's light, so you know it makes up for it with that. But it's very noticeable when you're trying to really go, especially if you try and do a hard takeoff from first. There's a really noticeable lag. My brother actually was the first one to point it out. You can't just go straight off, and I think that has a little bit to do with the Sport Chrono package. That is, you know, a whole nother option. Costs a couple thousand, but it's 0 to 60 is like 0.2 seconds better with the Sport Chrono package, and I feel like that little lag right there is, you know, what does it. So that's one thing you're gonna notice right away. Don't try and race anybody from a red light. You're gonna be wasting your time. So yeah, this is what I mean by that lag in first. I'm in sport, pedal to the floor on 3. 1, 2, 3. And like, you can even hear it in the exhaust. It wants to get there, and then it just like lingers at around 3,000, and then finally goes. Staying in first the whole time. Okay, so the last 3 things I've talked about were like semi-negative or whatever, but this 4th thing is just super neutral. I think it's important to know. So since I just talked about how, you know, the low end torque is not very good on the vehicle, and starts from first are kind of tragic, where is the best power on the car? It's been a couple months driving it. I've, you know, driven it hard and all that good stuff. So what I've noticed just from me driving is the best power output of the vehicle is around 60 miles an hour or so when you downshift to third. That's when you're gonna feel the most torque. That's when you're gonna feel like, holy shit, I have a fucking sports car. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you're gonna really actually take off. And what I've also noticed, which is another important thing with you know, the power output of the vehicle, is it's actually better when you leave it in sport instead of going into M mode, because it actually, when you step on it to the, you know, pedal to the floor, it's going to downshift to the lowest possible gear, and it's gonna like rev match. Like, obviously it's an automatic PDK vehicle, but it's gonna go to the right spot on the RPM band to give you the most power. Because when you know, downshift yourself, one, you're gonna generally downshift like 1, 2, 3, or whatever the case is. You're not gonna like be perfect with it. So if some dude's ever trying you, just leave it in regular sport and step on that shit if you're around like 60 miles an hour. So right now, I'm cruising in sport mode. I'm in 6th gear right now, going 55. So let's go up a little bit, and 100. Number 5. This is actually really weird, but the cruise control is a little iffy. So basically, you know, the band that it's supposed to remain in when you set it to 55 or whatever, sometimes it really overshoots, sometimes it's a little, stagnant. Like if I'm going up a hill and it's a pretty steep hill and I'm going 55, it might shoot all the way down to 50, and obviously it's gonna try and correct itself, but then it tends to like overshoot it. So then I might get to like 58 or like something like that. So it's not quite the best with cruise control, but I mean, who's putting it in cruise control anyway? I saved the best for last, honestly. The one thing that sucks about this car, like legit actually sucks, is the locking beep. So here it goes. So yeah, you pull up, car sounds amazing, it's blacked out, looks dope. You park, and then it sounds like a freaking Beetle. But that's it.
Lyrically, I'm untouchable, uncrushable. Running in a 600, running in a 600. Untouchable, uncrushable. Running in a 600, running in a 600.